Hey guys, God bless. Welcome back to my channel. I am Charlene. I would like to testify on what God has delivered me from and what he is continually to work out in my life. You've seen the thumbnail and you've seen the difference of my Bible collection. I've went from over almost 70 Bibles in this house to 40 Bibles in this house to me being down to my personal stash of only 18 Bibles. And I do not want to just stop at that. I want to keep going. So I'm asking for your continuous prayers with me as I testify on how God has helped me to work on these issues such as lust, covetousness, vanity, discontentment, because these are all things that I struggle with. For me, I was trying to fill a void, a gap. And what would happen was I get a new Bible, I get a new journal or new pens and new papers and things. And I'm like, it's all new stuff. Let's start over. But then I would go right down that same path of discontentment and frustrated and anxiety and stress. And I was like, God, what's wrong with me? And I just knew the solution was, I got the wrong Bible. I have the wrong pens. I have the wrong notebook or the wrong tabs. Like every time you turn around, I had an excuse or a justification of how I got to this point. But I really want to encourage you guys. First of all, I'm not condemning anyone. I'm speaking on my own personal experience. And I pray that you guys pray with me and for me. And feel free to comment below any things that helped you or can help me. And I'd be appreciated. I created this channel because I wanted to separate from everyone else. I want to create a secluded community where I can just be transparent and be vulnerable and have fun in my journaling, Bible journaling. So I initially went into this thing thinking, I need to display my Bibles. I need to create pretty setups and things of that nature. You know, eye-catching things, aesthetic things. And not understanding and realizing to the extent of what I was doing. Because if you dangle $1 in front of a kid, they're going to want the dollar. And the same thing with Bibles. If you dangle Bibles in front of people, they're going to want the Bibles. And this is what I'm guilty of. And that's the same thing with pens and notebooks and everything. Like, if you dangle anything in front of people, they're going to want it. So let's talk about some of these words I mentioned. Covetousness, wanting and desiring things you don't have that you see someone else having. Vanity, focusing on the thing or material things that are not edifying of yourself. Idolatry, worshiping, idolizing, putting something before God or making it equally as important. We all have done it. For me, it was Bibles. I worship these Bibles. I was delicate with them. I was particular with them. And I know a lot of people come off and say, oh, well, you just have preferences. We all have preference. I'm not fighting preference. But what I am fighting is when you get to the point where you spend so much time, money, and energy into what it looks like versus what you get from it, then you have a problem. Which is why I want to make this video, and I want to make it right now because I didn't want to put it off any longer. I have tried to make this video 1,001 times and it does not go right. And I pray you get to see this one. But you guys know we're in the challenge this month. And I say, you know what? I want to see if I could focus on one Bible, one set of pen, one notebook, one devotion. And then for the most part, I've done okay. There were some mishaps and things of that nature. But I can honestly say that it wasn't because I have an option or choice here. It was simply me saying, I don't understand it in this translation. Let me go read it in another. And then I came back to my original Bible of this challenge, the King James Journal of the Word Bible. If I had any advice for any new person in the Bible journaling community, because let's be clear, this is not to go against being creative. This is not to go against being artsy or liking colorful, bright things. This is me strictly talking or discussing on the lines of overdoing stuff. Hoarding. I hoard pens. That's hoarding. Like having an excessive amount of something that you can't even use all at once, that's hoarding. Like we may not want to hear it, we may not want to believe it, but that will be an issue and a problem. Like think about how much money is just right there alone. Right there. I can't get my, there you go. Think about how much money is right here alone. Or my notebooks. Or my Bibles. Think about how much money that is. And you may say, well, if you got it, it's your treat. People treat themselves to different things. But let me tell you what God has shown me in this whole process. Nothing is excused from these rules. Whether cars, clothes, shoes, hair, wigs, makeup, smell goods, nothing is excluded from these subjects. Hoarding is hoarding. Covetousness is covetousness. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. And let's be clear, because if we know idolatry is putting anything before God, worshiping it, because this is the issue. When people think about idolatry, they think, oh, well, I'm definitely not doing that because the Bible talks about worshiping other gods. But things in your life can be other gods, and I have made these Bibles my God. Like, I ran to them for comfort, for peace, for love, for satisfaction. Like, this is where I went to. I went to this. And God had to show me the error of my ways. Hence is why on the thumbnail you see me go from all of them to a little bit. And, well, I still think it's too much. But I try to give myself grace because we're coming from 70 plus in the house in total to my 18. I don't know how many is in the house still. And even the Bibles that my husband has a surplus of, I did that. So it's like me pushing it on them. My kids, same thing. What else? My daughter, same thing. Like when I'm like, okay, well, I'll just give you this. And then it was, reality chat was when she came to me and said, I don't think I'm into Bible journaling like that. And I said, but, and then I had to think about like, no, you pushed it on her. Or even when I was talking to my husband and I was like, trying to think of things to get him for gifts, I only can think of Bibles. And I'm like, well, what kind of Bibles you want next? Oh, I'm good. All right. If I really want it, I get it. And I'm like, you know, okay, what does that leave me to give you? And guess what? The money will suffice. Who doesn't want to get money? And I'm not saying love money, but I'm saying him being a man, he know what he needs and wants. And a money can go a longer way. And for me, it wasn't until I'm like, okay, God, I'm in this challenge. What am I getting? What am I missing? Like, what is wrong with me? Like, Lord, help me. What is wrong? And y'all know I made plenty of videos saying I'm overwhelmed. I'm anxious. I feel some type of way. And I just kept looking. I just get over here and be like, what is wrong? What is going on? And then I started to give them away. And the feeling that I got from giving them away was like, oh my goodness. Thank God I ain't got to worry about that Bible. Because that's what it comes to. Like, you got to make sure they're neat. They're not tearing. They're not worn. Make sure you put them on the shelf correctly. Make sure they tab, you know. And it's like, that's just so much stress and anxiety. And it's like, it's not worth it. Truth of the matter is, me and my husband was talking. And he came, well, he been said this, but I just was like, I'm not trying to hear that. Because that would mean me giving away everything. He said, you only need one. And I'm like, how can you say that? You got more than one, but he uses one. You only can use one at a time. And even if you say, okay, no, because I can put my spread out. Yeah, you can. That's how most of us study. But at a time, you only can use one. And even the excuse of, well, I'm just trying to build up my resources and things of this nature. And it's like, you got the internet, you got your phone, you got your tablet. Now, this is another issue that I struggle with because I'm like, well, what about publishing and printing? Like, what if things change and people tamper with translations? And they have. There are different years and publishings of different translations. So it's like, okay, what do I do now? And that still brought me to being anxious about something. Like, you worry about something that doesn't exist. And when it does exist, I will take care of it. But A sensible amount would do. A sensible amount. Do I think 18 is sensible? No, I do not. And I'm speaking for myself because that's how many I have. And I'm not trying to condemn anyone. I'm not trying to convict anyone. I'm just simply wanting to testify on how God has been dealing with me in my heart about everyday things that we don't think can cause us to sin or fall short. Books. Hoarding books. I have a completely bookshelf full and I'm just like, okay, God, what am I doing? And it's to the point where I'm hyper attentive to certain things. Like when I go in the store, all I'm thinking about is books. Or I'm looking for Bibles, pens, sticky notes. Like I'm hyper focusing on certain things where, sorry y'all, my allergies. Where my husband, I came home, my husband said, did you get such and such? And I said, I did not. And it was so important and it was an immediate need. And it led me to like, what is wrong with me? Like, why did I forget something so important? And I was reminded by the Holy Spirit because you're hyper attentive to other things. Pens, highlighters, markers, Bibles, sticky notes, things that can wait. And I thank God for him delivering me. I pray and hope that others watching this can be delivered as well. If you are unsure, at least just pray about it. And because I know somebody's going to say it, and I know somebody's going to feel this way, that doesn't apply to me. Which is why I made my video about the difference between condemning and convictions. There are some things that are general. And these concepts I have named are general. They do not change from person to person. The Bible says, resist Satan that he may flee. Obviously, we all going to have a moment in time where it's either resist or sit there and try to fight on your own will and might. And idolatry is a huge issue in America because we have accessibility and means to multiple things. Like things come in packages of multiples. Like you can get this one pen, but you can get a whole pack of pens, a whole pack of pencils, a whole pack of markers, a whole pack of sticky notes. You can go into a Christian bookstore or go online and you can have options and choices for Bibles. If you hear a lot of people from different countries, they always say the same thing, that they don't have that many choices and variety in these things, and yet we do. And we have more means of income and money. So we figure I'm entitled. I can, if I got extra money, I can treat myself. But why selfishly treat yourself to something you already have? And I know somebody gonna be technical. Well, I don't have that translation. I don't have that print. I don't have that type. Everybody, listen. God will supply your needs according to his riches and glory. You need to seek him first. And if you seek him first, you should get to a point where you say, you know what? I am content. What I don't have here in this Bible, God will supply through my phone or online or Google or YouTube, something else. Like I said, the only argument that I used to hold on to, that my husband even says, like, have more than one translation. But again, you can have this on your phone. You don't have to have physical copies of these. I think about it like this, because this is what really touched me. For the price of a Bible, I can't even fill up my car anymore because of gas prices. And that's big. Like, I'm willing to sacrifice and put my all into another Bible, something I already have. Yet, I can't fill up my tank in my car. Or maybe one of my children have a need, and I don't want to fill that void because I think this is more important. At this point, you have idolized Bibles, and that's an issue, and that's a problem, which I got another video about that, so stay tuned. But I just want to talk about that, how God has worked on me. I am thankful. I am grateful. I've come a mighty long way. He will continue to work on me. I know some of you may be thinking, I don't know if you are, but I am. I was like, okay, God, once I pull the rabbit out the hat, per se, what will come on my channel? I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I keep doing this, right? Like, I keep changing my mind, being indecisive, all those things that I'm praying against. So y'all pray for me as I pray for you. But I just want to leave on this note. Don't fight me. Talk to God. Because I know I probably said something that rubbed people the wrong way. But when we get to the point of justifying our sin or justifying what we're doing, we are wrong. Because a lot of people I see in the premium Bible groups, the first thing they say is people talk about us hoarding Bibles and collecting Bibles, but they collect shoes and shirts and things of that nature. But it's like, you're trying to justify why your sin is a lesser sin to someone else. Hoarding is hoarding. Whether it's Bibles or books or resources or pens, pencils, highlighters, you name it. It is wrong. Pray that God open up your heart and your mind and your eyes to see what is holy, what is right, and what is true. I love you guys. God bless. Take care. Bye.